All right, guys. Today you're actually going to be working on part of your lab, and I want to show you how to do this. So I'm starting here on the bulletin board, and what you'll need to do is just scroll on down to where it says Class Documents. Click the link Class Documents, and you'll see it says Class Documents here. Open up that folder, and then open up the folder called Labs, and you'll see a lab called Sea Level Lab, and you're just going to need to open this up. If you need to make a copy for yourself, you can say File, Make a Copy once this loads. So File, Make a Copy for yourself. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to, but you can make a copy and have this to be able to edit. Right now, you can't edit this file. Okay, so what you should probably do is just read through this background. There's a couple pages here that talk about sea level rise that's happened over the last 100+ years. And if you read through the information, you'll read stuff about melting ice sheets and glaciers and thermal expansion. And there's a lot of information that's on here about global temperatures rising in the last few, about 100+ years. Okay. Now, at the very end of this document, which I believe it starts on page 4, you'll see some directions of what you actually have to do. And so I want to walk you through what you're doing here. So it says in the directions, and by the way, you should fill this information out. So write your name here. This is lab number 2. Okay, so just fill out the information that's here. I'm going to get rid of the class name. You don't need to worry about that, but this is lab number 2. And you know what? I'll just do that for you. So now it's all set. Okay, so it's lab number 2. Now, first it says open the file in the lab folder under class documents. So just go back to that tab that you just had, and you'll see a folder called sea level data. All right, and you'll see a bunch of files in here. So it says choose any file listed with a number. Do not use the full data set. So all of these have numbers next to them, 1, 2, 3, except for this one. The full data set, I don't want you to touch that one. Ignore that one. I just want you to notice all these other ones. There's altogether 20 of them. Pick any number between 1 and 20 and open up that data set. Okay, so I'm going to pick unlucky number 13 just as an example. Okay, so here we go. We have a set of data. And it says in the directions, highlight all the data in column A and B. So I'm just going to take my mouse, I'm going to highlight everything in columns A and B all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so just scroll on down. There are altogether about 79. It goes down to row 79. So I highlighted it all. Okay, so next it says, click the Insert menu and select Chart. Okay, so click Insert, and then go down to where it says Chart. Okay, and what should come on your screen is a graph automatically made for you based upon this data. And then it says, if not already selected, use row 1 as headers and use column A as labels. And that, I believe, is already set up over here. So those are checked off. So that's all set. Then select line chart and then click the insert button. Really, that's already automatically done for you. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of step number 7 there. Now, it says to answer the following questions about your data set. So what year and month does your data set begin? You might want to look here. Okay, it starts in 1958. And I'm not going to worry about the month. We'll just say what year. Okay, and what year does it end? And you just have to scroll on down to the end. It ends in 1964. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. What is the global mean level at the beginning of your data set? So what's the number at the beginning? What's the number at the end? What is the difference? So you have to do some subtraction. So again, just use these numbers that are in this chart here. And then it says to calculate the rate of change in sea level over the period of time of your data set. So again, this is a rate of change question. So you just have to do the math. And then it says, what does the line indicate is happening to sea level across the span of your data? So you look at this and say, what's going on here? What do you see happening overall, generally over that time period? Next, it says directions continued. Add a trend line to the chart to better display what the data is showing. Right-click on the line chart and select Advanced Edit. So you're going to click on this, and you're going to go down. I'll click the 3 dots and say Edit Chart, and you'll see Advanced Settings over here. We're going to add a trend line by clicking on series and going down to where it says trend line. Okay? And if you look at it, I'm going to just make it red so it stands out to you. Whoops, I just want I want this to be blue, and I want my trend line to be red. Okay? And now it stands out pretty well. So you can see on the screen here, I have my data and I have a trend line. And you can see how that trend line is pretty flat. So if we go back to the lab, it says, does the trend line agree with your visual assessment of the data? If there's a discrepancy, why do you think that is? So what did you see originally compared to what you see with the trend line? What's happening? So just compare what you said before you actually made the trend line and what you see afterwards. After that, you're going to take your graph that you just made, which is right here, and you're going to copy it. So you can click on here and say copy chart, and then you're just going to paste it right in here by just hitting paste. Okay, and you can paste it unlinked like that, and there it is, right on your graph or right on your lab. Then you have some other questions to answer. It says, how to use your data set compared to the complete 130-year data set, and this is the complete thing from the 1800s till the present day. Okay, so just compare yours to that. And then why is it important to look at data over a long period of time? So essentially, this is just a portion of this graph right here. So why is it important to look at the whole picture over just a portion of the picture? Okay, so that's the last question. So those are the questions that you have to answer. I'm going to be collecting this lab in class next week. If you finish this and want to print it off, I am going to collect this as a paper document, so you should print it off, and then you're going to be bringing it into class the next time that you're here and adding it to another part of the lab. So that's pretty much it. That's what you're doing today. You're working on this lab, pretty straightforward stuff. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate